Hello everyone, and welcome to the BP Learning Channel. If you're here today because you're hoping to launch a new business without letting your cash go up into flames, then you're in the right place. I'm Debbie, a certified SBDC coach at the Business Incubator Center. The incubator is a partner with the Colorado Small Business Development Center under the SBA, or U.S. Small Business Administration. I am also a former business owner myself, a former CFO for multiple startup ventures in the Silicon Valley, and a CPA with my master's in finance. That's me, and I'm here today to introduce you to a process I developed that will help you answer 3 very important questions before you launch your business and get yourself into some serious trouble. 1. Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? Do you know what it means to own and manage your very own business? 2. Does your business venture satisfy your personal goals, both your long-term and your short-term goals? Will you make the money you want to make right now, and will you have what you need over the long haul? And 3, what kind of information is actually required to make an important decision like this? How do you assess the vision you have before you have cash flow problems? As an SBDC coach, I've helped over 100 clients, all struggling to manage businesses with various levels of serious cash flow problems. And every time I meet with one of them, I hear the same story. Where did all my money go? Let's take a look at what I mean when I say this. I'd like to introduce you to a few of my clients, people who started a business without doing some kind of process to see if the business made sense. Meet Jennifer, a sandwich shop owner for almost 10 years. Her business is thriving. Her sales are strong, but she never seems to have enough money to make the next payroll. Meet Jan and David, a husband and wife team who purchased a bar and grill 5 years ago, which has been underwater almost since day one. They have been funding the shortfalls with credit cards and money from family. Meet Rebecca. She opened a pottery store almost 3 years ago. She is passionate about her craft. She loves what she does, but can't pay her bills and doesn't know why. She has 12 credit cards, and the IRS has been at her door 3 times already, demanding back payroll taxes. $75,000, folks, on 12 different cards. And finally, meet Jason. He makes micro sprint race cars, 4 different kinds. His business is almost 2 years old right now. He is the sole supporter of a family of 5 and can only pay himself $50,000 a year. Jason is pretty burnt out right now. Managing 20 employees all by himself is a whole lot more than he bargained for when he started the business. What did I get myself into, he asked me. And just like his peers, when I asked him, have you run any numbers? Does the business make sense? The answer was no. And that's what it almost always is when somebody comes to see me. They have wasted a whole lot of money and can't get it back. It's always the same story. Committed and hard-working people with a business absolutely hemorrhaging cash. And I wish, with all of my heart, that these folks had come to see me before they chased after their dreams. Maybe maybe, just maybe, I could have helped them assess the vision they had with a feasibility process for entrepreneurs. As you might have noticed, I wrote a book about this process, hoping to give my clients a resource to use at home. I did this as the owner and founder of Butterfly's Paws, a nonprofit organization promoting healthy mental awareness through the power of imagery and the written word. A major part of the BP mission is prosperity for small business owners. Hence, the 3 handy reference guides you see here. Today, however, I'll be talking to you about one of them, assessing the vision you have, the first step of a 3-step process I developed that I use with every client who comes to see me wanting to launch a new business. The focus here is step 1, an analysis that assesses potential success of a new business by calculating how many units of a product or service must be sold to 1. Break even. 2. Make an acceptable profit. And 3. Minimize the risk of losing money. If the business makes sense, we move on to step 2. I call this the viability analysis. We create a 5-year projection model to see if the business makes money over the long haul. In other words, is the business sustainable? If the answer is yes, we go to step 3, execution. We go to the bank, we go to investors, and we launch. Now, let's take a closer look at step 1. It begins with assessing whether or not you are truly an entrepreneur. Do you have what it takes to make your dream come true? There are 4 basic ingredients: vision, knowledge, skills, and passion. Let's talk about the elements in each one of these. Your vision should include a service or product to sell with long-term earnings power, financial resources to launch and grow a business, and a good strategic plan to make it happen. Knowledge required includes a comprehensive understanding of the product or service, familiarity with economics, production and consumption, and a command of finance fundamentals. Know how to manage money. Skills required include a high level of expertise in producing the product or providing the service you love so much, managing human resources, the people who will help you be successful, and marketing, innovative customer outreach. And finally, let's talk about passion. A strong enthusiasm for the mission, a high level of energy to execute the plan, and a tolerance for managing a high level of risk inherent in any new startup venture. We're looking at the projected failure rate of startups. I put together a forecast going forward 15 years based on statistics provided by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. In 2021, they told us that 5,400,000 new businesses were launched. Based on their historical information, 20% of these new businesses will fail by 2023. Another 25% will fail 5 years down the road, And 15 years down the road, only 25% of these businesses will remain. While I'm not trying to scare you, well, maybe just a little, these are sobering facts. The failure rate is incredibly high. So, maybe you should be scared. But that doesn't mean you have to give up on your dreams. What it does mean, however, is your dreams need to make sense. Let's move on now and get into the guts of this feasibility thing I keep talking about. Let's look at a plan, one that includes a whole lot of numbers, a plan for Robust Coffee, a retail coffee shop one of my clients wanted to launch. The good news is I developed a spreadsheet model that does a lot of the computational work for you. And the even better news is that when you are done, you actually have most of what you need for a comprehensive business plan, one you can share with bankers and potential investors. Let's take a quick peek at what's inside this plan. It begins with a description of the business. What kind of product or service are you going to sell? Where will you sell it? And how much is it going to cost? Next is a brief description of how the business is organized. Who will the owners be? And what kind of legal entity will it be in? Next, we lay out financial goals, short-term ones and long-term ones, and develop an expected timeline to launch the business. Then we gather important information about what's going on in the industry and what kind of current economic conditions will we be launching the business in. This will help us measure ourselves against competitors. After we've done some homework, putting together projections, which we'll talk about soon, the business plan will be populated with important expected financial results on 3 different cases. And finally, we will have everything we need to make a valid feasibility assessment. Should we go with this business vision we have? Or should we say no-go to our dream? This will be done in 2 parts. We will first examine our entrepreneurial aptitude, and then we will take a look at the venture's performance. And now, let's see where most of these numbers actually come from. Big picture, the model provides profitability output for 3 operating scenarios on a 1-year steady state basis. A low case, a base case or break-even case, and a high case. In each of these cases, you discover how many units per day of product or service you must sell to generate the kind of performance results you hope your venture will have. Performance measurements such as a net operating margin on each of these cases, and important value measurements for your new venture. I'm going to talk to you briefly about 2 of these measurements. The first one is the internal rate of return, which runs from a low of negative 7.8% to a high of 7%. The next one is an estimated value of your venture, which runs from a low of $117,000 to a high of $278,000. As a frame of reference, this business required $455,000 to launch, including a loan from the bank for $75,000. And now, let's take a look at how industry benchmarks play into this all. This template is designed to gather key performance indicators for competitors and the relevant industry that can be used as benchmarks against projected results, and important economic data that can be used when making projection assumptions and analyzing investment performance. Now, you might be wondering where you can find all this great information, and I'm here to tell you that it isn't that hard to find it. You can go to your local library, your local Chamber of Commerce, and your local SBDC center. Our center subscribes to IBIS World, a rather expensive market research publication offering industry data worldwide. A good coach can help you find it. There's a lot of great information available to help you make a good investment decision, one that measures risk and reward. The risk and reward thing. We hear this phrase all the time because good investment decisions always measure risk and reward. Bottom line, the greater the level of risk an investor takes, the greater the return should be. More risk equals more reward. The goal here is to answer one important question using both qualitative and quantitative factors gathered during a good feasibility process. The question: is the level of risk associated with your venture acceptable relative to the expected rate of return you might have? You should be able to answer this question before you make a final go or no-go decision. Remember, dreams have to make sense. I just can't say this enough. Yes, we live in a country built on dreams, visions of entrepreneurs over the years. But still, these dreams need to make sense. They need to pass a test, some kind of test, before the potential new business owner makes a final go or no-go decision. Don't say no, and don't say yes until you do a valid test. Your decision should be based upon an assessment of 1. Your entrepreneurial aptitude, and 2. Your venture's performance relative to your goals. Remember, your dream has to make sense. It needs to pass a test, some kind of feasibility test, before the potential new business owner makes a go or no-go decision. How do you assess the vision you have? How do you know if your dream meets your goals? You answer these questions. Are you an entrepreneur? Have you got a plan that quantifies success? Have you benchmarked results? Have you run scenarios with a break-even case? And have you considered risk versus return? In summary, wrapping it up, I want to give you a homework assignment. I want you to find a mentor or find a coach and do a good feasibility analysis. One that includes an entrepreneurial aptitude assessment, an industry economic analysis, projection scenarios, and a risk and return analysis. If you do this, you will be successful. And success, my friends, is measured by good health and prosperity over the long haul. If you make a no-go decision, you will have success. Another investment alternative for prosperity will be in your future. And if you make a go decision, you will have success. A well-prepared opportunity for entrepreneurial prosperity will be in front of you. I love new business, and I wish you success and all of my clients. I want you to find prosperity in the short term and in the long term. That's why I took the time to develop this process. That's why I wrote a book about the process and developed a model that includes a business plan you can take to a bank and show to potential investors. And that's why I coach for free at the Business Incubator. I want you to make a good decision about launching a business, even if you say no go to your vision. And guess what? There are a whole lot of people out there just like me. Colorado, my home state, has 14 small business coaching centers, and there are 1,000 of them nationwide. So please, get some help, some free consulting, some affordable training. Find a consultant, someone you like who is knowledgeable, who will help you achieve your goals. And be willing to roll up your sleeves and do some work. Yes, it does take some work. I can share my model with you. I can give you a reference book. I can help you analyze and brainstorm with you. But at the end of the day, you still have to do the research, run some numbers, and put together a solid plan. You may also have to learn some new terminology and develop some brand new skills on the finance side. But that's all part of being an entrepreneur. You can't just do what you love and be your own boss. That's only part of the job. If you want to make money, avoid having your hard-earned cash go up into flames. Avoid going bankrupt. Keep yourself out of jail. Then, roll up your sleeves. Find a good coach or mentor and do the homework required before you launch the dream you have. And hey, I know that this is a lot. You just want to do what you love. But I truly do hope you will pause, count the money you have right now, and come up with a plan, a good, solid plan with meaningful numbers. And before you go, please let me know with a comment or two below if this has been helpful. Tell me what else you might like to know to be successful. And subscribe to the BP Learning channel so you don't miss out on more prosperity tips. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I wish you the best in whatever you might decide to do with prosperity in your life.